it's a really fulfilling life that I have now. I take joy out of all the little things that so many people probably take for granted. But even a bad day, even a day where everything goes wrong and your car's broken down and your boss is a jerk and all those things, just dims in comparison. That big, empty, gaping hole that I had inside of me when I was ill, and that unrelenting pain that would just never let up, and it felt like it was darkness all the time. To have that gone and to have it replaced by just happiness every day is unbelievable. And life is just so good now. My diagnosis was Major Depressive Disorder when I was 16 years old. I suffered for 4.5 years. About the 3rd year into it, I was diagnosed with undifferentiated schizophrenia because I started suffering from hallucinations. I spent the majority of those 4.5 years hospitalized. I was unable to take care of myself. I was so depressed that at times I wouldn't be able to just care for myself and cook for myself and take care of a house or a home or anything like that. I was so medicated at times that I really didn't know who I was or who anybody else was, who my parents were or anybody like that. I was unresponsive to most medications that I ever took during the entire time. Most of them had really severe side effects. By the time I was 18, I was having to take heart medication as a result of the Risperdal that they had me on excessively high doses. I was beyond the maximum recommended dose of Effexor and Risperdal and several other medications. I've tried nearly every medication that they ever made for depression and antipsychotics and that type of thing. I was taking sleeping pills and heart meds and diuretics and all sorts of anti-Parkinson medications to counteract the Parkinson syndrome that I developed from the antipsychotic meds. On Boxing Day of 2001, I had overdosed on several thousand milligrams of Thorazine, and I was hospitalized in Red Deer in intensive care and consequently in the psychiatric ward for a couple of months following. I was still unresponsive to any medications they were giving me. I had changed psychiatrists and general physicians, and all the medications had been revamped, and I still wasn't showing any signs of improvement. My parents knew a fellow patient that was in the hospital with me who had started taking this EMPowerplus supplement and had recommended that I go and listen and hear all about the supplement. So my parents took me down to see Tony and David speak in Calgary at I think it was at the Jubilee or somewhere, and telling us about how the supplement works and why it would work and the theory behind it. Tony had come up to us after their presentation, and he came up to my mom and he said that this supplement will work for me, and my parents were really upset about that because they had tried everything over the years, everything from holistic medication right through to conventional medicine, and I was unresponsive, so to be given hope like that was very unrealistic. But they asked me to try the supplement because nothing else was working. I approached my psychiatrist who said, you might as well, you're not responsive to anything else. I approached my physician who said there's nothing in here that obviously could harm you, so you may as well try, you have nothing to lose. I started the supplement, and within a couple of days I started feeling much worse. My depression got to the point of being so severe that I was suicidal. The hallucinations got worse. I couldn't tolerate it any longer. I spoke to Tony and Barb on a regular basis at that time, and they told me to just stick with the program, and that because of the medication I was coming off of, it was possible that I was going to get worse before I got better. I gradually came off all my medication, and within a week of being off my medication, I started feeling better. I started sleeping for the first time in years. I hadn't slept in 4.5 years. I was constantly unconscious because I was so medicated, and I was always in bed, but I hadn't slept and rested for years. And that was the first thing I noticed, was sleeping just a couple of hours and waking up and just feeling rested. My whole body, my mind, everything felt rested. Within a month, I thought I'd never been ill in my life. I'd returned to the psychiatrist and the doctor, and they said, well, it's only been a month. And there was several times during my years of being ill that I would quit taking my medications, and I would feel elated for a period of time just because I wasn't so drugged out. So I thought I was feeling well, but it was almost bordering on a manic behavior. I felt so good and then I would crash. So nobody was really ready or willing to believe that I was feeling better. And within 6 months of feeling well, I returned to my psychiatrist, and she said, now that's something that's worth noting. That's pretty impressive, 6 months. And as of yesterday, it's been 6 years that I've been on the supplement. I've never turned back. I've never had to take another medication. I've never had to take anything for anxiety or sleep or anything along that line. I work full-time now, which is something I couldn't do at all before because I was constantly in hospitals. And life is great.